The Captain Dean Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Captain Dean Show. On this episode, I'm talking about Pinky Monster Bass. This is a 2002 20th anniversary Squier Affinity P Bass. I love these things. Every time I come across one, I usually get it. So in the previous videos, I've talked about having a bass that was deemed number one. In the picture from the last episode, you probably saw it. It was a black P bass, and it was also a Squier 20th anniversary P bass, and I loved that bass. I didn't do a lot to it. I didn't even play it live very much. I only really used it in the studio when I started recording my own music and everything. But it was really comfortable, and for some stupid reason I sold it, and somehow I was able to get my hands on this one. This bass has a very interesting story because my dear friend Cindy bought a bass for her kid who wanted to learn how to play bass because they were hanging out with me and thought it was cool, I guess. So Cindy found this on Facebook Marketplace for $25. It was originally a navy blue body with a plain white pickguard. And everything on it is exactly as you see, except for the paint, but like the neck and everything, the bridge, I haven't really done anything but, technically clean them up a little bit. But she originally found this off of somebody on Facebook Marketplace. It was $25 for the bass and a small amp with some unknown name brand amp. And I don't think the amp worked very good. It may have been a guitar amp if I'm not mistaken. But this was purchased for Cindy's kid, and they got into it and played it for a little bit. What was wrong with it, the reason the guy sold it to her for so cheap, is because he said that it needed to be worked on. The neck was bowed really bad. And it wasn't that bad. Once I got it on the workbench, I think I only had to turn the I think I only had to turn this like maybe half a crank to kind of straighten it out. But it didn't really need a lot of work on the adjustment part, in my opinion. And it plays good for me, and it has been straight ever since I did the work on that. But anyway, I cleaned it up and polished it, put some new strings on it, and gave it to them for them to start, doing their own bass work and everything. And I showed them a couple things on how to just kind of hold the root notes and all that stuff. And you'll see that in the photographs. But other than that, they had it for maybe a year and got bored with it. And they wanted an acoustic guitar. So I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll find an acoustic guitar and we can trade. So I ended up finding a good, actually a Fender acoustic guitar. And the guy actually lived like 5 minutes from my house. So I got the guitar, traded them the acoustic guitar, and got this. I immediately took it apart, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. Being a big Mark Hoppus fan and not wanting to ever really have replicas of anything, instead of making a Scully bass replica, I just wanted to paint a P bass hot pink, and that's exactly what I got. It took me a while to find the Krylon Shortcut hot pink. I didn't realize at the craft stores I'd be able to find this, but this is the can of paint that I used to paint this guitar. It was an interesting task for me. I went around to different stores and Walmart and everything like that to see what kind of hot pink paint they had in stock, and none of them really were what I would deem hot pink. There was the fluorescent, there was the lighter shades of pink that can kind of go purple or red or even more of an orangey reddish kind of tint, a plum purple kind of thing. And finally, out of nowhere, I think I was in a Hobby Lobby, and I stumbled upon the craft paint in the craft paint aisle. And this is it. This is what I got. And all I did was sand the body down smooth and painted 2 cans of these to cover the whole body. And I didn't clear coat it or anything. So real close up, you can see some pick scuff marks and everything. I like to do that because I want them to look nice and pretty at first, but I also want them to eventually get kind of dinged and beat up and scuffed up naturally a little bit. So that is the story behind this bass. It gets used quite a bit. The pickups are still stock pickups. I haven't changed everything to Seymour Duncan yet, but it takes time. That stuff's for some reason I can buy $100 basses all the time, but I can't buy the pickups to change them out. But anyway, it sounds good, it plays good, and I've used this bass for many years now since I acquired it. And this is my Pinky Monster. I met Jim Madison when I was 14 years old, something like that. My brother was friends with his roommate, Michelle, at the time. And we went to a Halloween party. And my first introduction of meeting Jim Madison, he was standing at the top of a staircase at their apartment. And he opened the door, and he was shirtless. He was wearing a pair of black shorts. He was markered up with like tattoos that he had drawn all over his arms and legs. He was Henry Rollins for Halloween that year. And he looked exactly like Henry Rollins when he did all that. And that was my introduction to meeting Jim Madison. And I've known him ever since. And he's just an amazing guy. He has incredible taste in not only music, but of course his art and his cut, paste, destroy method. Him and Connie had Print Mafia for years. And I was always just in awe of the posters that they would make for concerts and the things that he would do for fun, screen printing on, pieces of wood, or making posters that were like just, images and stuff. It was more artwork, kind of thing than being commercial. But they did a lot of concert posters, and the book I think that they've put together and illustrated all of their artwork in over the years is just super cool. So it made sense that when they got to kind of a fork in the road, Connie went her way to do her things, which has been amazing to watch. And then Jim, of course, went his direction. And when I acquired these stickers, it was kind of like the end of Print Mafia as a business. And so I got an uncut sheet of the stickers of the monsters. And I immediately had the idea of, I want to do a collage. That was another thing that Jim and Connie were good at doing. They would do these collage things and turn those into their prints and posters and stuff like that. And so I've never done anything like that before. So I wanted to do that on a pick guard. And in the process of doing that, I wanted to make sure that the Print Mafia name was on it, and also Jim Madison Print Destroyer was featured on it, since it is a combination of both Print Mafia stickers and Jim Madison stickers. And that is how I came up with this collage pick guard, which I get a lot of compliments on, and I appreciate that. It is the first time I'd ever done like a custom pick guard thing. And as you'll see in other videos, I've gone on to do a lot more in the custom pick guard realm, but it's just stickers slapped onto a shitty white pick guard. Nothing special about it. So like everything else, it's just pretty much stock, other than the custom paint job and Ernie Ball super slinky strings. And finding this strap at Guitar Center was super cool, because I've got 3 of these straps now on different bases, and I absolutely love this pin that the one who purchased this bass, my dear friend Cindy, also gave me this pin to go with it, I believe for my birthday. My birthday is the day before Halloween, so monsters and Halloween stuff, it's a thing. So I appreciate that very much.
The 20th anniversary Squires were produced in 2002. The 20th anniversary Squire bass guitars were all outfitted with a anniversary plate. On this particular P bass, I left everything alone and didn't put any stickers on the back. The coffin case that is housing this particular bass was purchased at Guitar Center in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was a perfect fit for this bass to go in. For some reason I don't really know, that particular day I was in Nashville, this case was marked down and on sale for half off. Another checkerboard guitar strap was found also at Guitar Center in Nashville, Tennessee. This one being pink and black, it was a no-brainer to also add that to that bass. And the amazing enamel pin of Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein was given to me by my dear friend Cindy. Although the pickguard went through a few different bases, it finally landed home on this one and has been on this bass for several years now. As you saw in the original photograph, these stickers are a combination of Print Mafia as a company and Jim Madison when he went out on his own and became Print Destroyer. It is obvious that the monsters with their names came off of the uncut sticker sheet of the classic horror monsters, and then you can see the skeletons and various things like the lion and the wolf that came from a Jim Madison Print Destroyer sheet. I get asked often the color of this particular bass. It actually came from these shortcut cans from Krylon. I found 2 of these hot pink, and that's what is on this body. It might be a little brighter if I had used a white base, but I just sanded down the original navy color and painted pink direct onto the body. That was the first time I used the Krylon craft paint, and it worked just fine. I used the same make and model in purple on my grape soda base. I am often asked about the pick guard. It is merely stickers put directly on top of a white pick guard. I did spray a small amount of clear coat over top of that to get that shine and to keep them from peeling up, but as you can see, that didn't really go very well. And that is Pinky Monster Base and the strap on the workbench.
So there you go. Everything about Pinky Monster Base. It is a great base. I love finding these 20th anniversary Squires. If I could have 20 more of them, I would be happy. Maybe. Not sure. But this one is very special to me because of the story of how it came into my life. The fact that it came to my workbench to be worked on and gifted, and then it ended up back in my hands, and I was able to customize it, and now it's mine forever and ever, and no one can have it until I'm dead, like all of these monsters. Tune in next time for another episode of the Captain Dean Show. Do 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 ba do 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 ba do 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 boo boo ba ba da ba 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 do 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 ba one ba 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 da ba ba da 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 ba ba da ba ba da ba ba do 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 ba 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 ah do 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 ba